Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our virtual Dirshu Mishnah Berurah here. We are holding today in Mishnah Berurah Chelik Hey. We're continuing to learn Hilchos Pesach. We're actually getting near the end of Hilchos Pesach. We are on Tzadik Zayin Amid Beis, and we are beginning Siman Taf Tzadik. So the Mechaber says, Siman Taf Tzadik, Seder Tfilas Yom Sheni, the proper order of the davening for the second day of Pesach, with Tfilas Chol HaMoed, and the davening for Chol HaMoed, Pesach, Uboy Tes Seifim, and we have over here 9 Seifim. Says the Mechaber in Sif Aleph, B'Yom Sheni, on the second day of Pesach, Kairin B'Parshas Emor, we lein from Parshas Emor. We begin with Shar Oichesev Ad Soifa Inyan, until the end of that Parsha. So this is in Parshas Emor. It's Vayikra, it's Parag Gimel. We begin with Pasuk Chavav, which is Vayidaber Hashem Moshe Leimar Shar Oichesev Hayez Ki Yivaled. So this is the Parsha where you bring a shar, an ox, or a kesev, some kind of sheep, a goat, a lamb, for a carbon. It has to be 8 days old before you could bring it for a carbon. That's where we begin the leining. Also, the isser of oisai ve'espanoi, that you cannot bring a parent animal and a child animal on the same day, and the zman for the achila of the carbon toida. And this is a short parsha of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8 psukim over here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, we have 8 psukim over here. And then after these 8 psukim of Shari Chesev starts the parsha of the Mayadim. And first the Torah speaks about Shabbos, and then the Torah speaks about Pesach, and then goes on through the rest of the Mayadim. Now, why do we begin from Pasuk Chavav, which is the parsha of Shari Chesev Hayez Ki Yivaled? Why don't we go straight to Revi? Why don't we just begin by Revi, which is the parsha of the Mayadim? So there are different reasons given. One of the primary reasons is this short little parsha of Shari Chesev Hayez Ki Yivaled ends with the pasuk of Hamotzi eschem me'eretz Mitzrayim liyos lachem le'leikim ani Hashem. And we know that all of the Mayadim are zecher liyitzias Mitzrayim. Not only Pesach, but the other Mayadim as well are all zecher liyitzias Mitzrayim. So since we have this pasuk over here of Hamotzi eschem me'eretz Mitzrayim, we want to set the tone for the rest of the Mayadim. Another reason given is that one of the primary features of all the Mayadim are the karbanos that we bring. Unfortunately, we don't see that now, but we do daven the musafim, so we're constantly speaking about karbanos. So we want to again set the theme for the Mayadim and lein this short little parsha of Shari Chesef Hayez, which gives us halachas of karbanos. Another reason that's brought down is simply we need additional psukim to be able to make 5 olim. On Yom Tov, we have 5 aliyahs. We want to be able to have 5 aliyahs easily, so we add this on. So here we have different reasons why we start from Shari Chesef Hayez Ki Yivaled. Let's see the Mishnah Berurah is cut in Aleph. The Mishnah Berurah says, Shari Chesef, Demai Rishame in Yonei Kol HaMayadim V'gam Shel Pesach. This parsha, this leining, is going to speak about all the Mayadim. And Ois Cotton Beis, the Mechaber made the point. He said that we lay in Shar Oichesev ad Soifa Inyan, until the end of the topic. It says the Mishnah Berurah ad Soifa Inyan, Tahainu ad Vayidaber Moshe es Mayadei Hashem. We go all the way to the end of the Mayadim. So this leining, if you look at Parshas Emor, this leining actually ends, I believe, by Shvi. Yes, the last pasuk before Shvi is Vayidaber Moshe es Mayadei Hashem el Bnei Yisrael. By leining that entire shtickle from a little bit before Revi all the way until Shvi, we cover all the Mayadim. Now, the point that the Mechaber is making here is, you might have thought that we should end the Kriya after the leining of Pesach, because that's the first one of the Mayadim. First, we discuss Shabbos, and then we discuss Pesach. So maybe we should end the Kriya right after Pesach, or maybe, if we don't have enough psukim, maybe we should do Pesach and Sfiras HaOmer and Shavuos, and then stop the Kriya for Pesach. Why do we have to learn about Rosh Hashanah? And why do we have to learn about Sukkot? And why do we have to learn about Yom Kippur? Kamash B'lan the Mechaber, no. We learn the entire Inyan. We learn throughout all of the Mayadim. Now, here we have a little interesting sentence here in the Mishnah Berurah. This is something that I think escapes most people's attention. Says the Chavetz Chaim, "V'kosvu asvarim." He brings down from the Svarim, "The toiv lasos b'yom sheni basuda." It's good and proper to do something on the second day of Pesach by the Suda. Eze davar lezecher seudas Esther, as a zecher for the Suda that Esther had with Achashverosh and Haman. Shabayomahu nisla Haman, because it was on that day that Haman was hanged. We know that the Gzera of Achashverosh and Haman, the letter saying that the Yidden Chas v'Chalila would be wiped out, that letter was promulgated on the 13th of Nisan. So the letter went out on the 13th of Nisan, and then Mordechai and Esther decreed a tainus. So the tainus was on the 14th of Nisan, that's Erev Pesach, the 15th of Nisan, that's the first day of Pesach, and the 16th of Nisan, which is the second day of Pesach. And on the 16th of Nisan, that's when Esther had her final Suda, and that's when Haman was hanged. So Haman was actually hanged on the second day of Pesach. So the Mishnah Berurah is bringing down over here, on the second day of Pesach, do something by the Suda. I don't know, make an extra kugel to celebrate the hanging of Haman. Let's continue in the Mechaber over here. So near the end of the first line of the Mechaber. So we spoke about the Kriyas HaTorah of the second day, Umaftir, and for the Maftir of the second day, Kairei Kimai B'Yom Rishon. We lay in the same exact Maftir for the second day of Yom Tov as we did on the first day of Yom Tov, which is of Achodesh Harishon Barba Asa Yom Lachodesh Pesach LaHashem, Uvachamisha Asa Yom Lachodesh Hazeh Chag, and then Shivas Yom Amatzos Yachel, and then it goes through the Karbanos for the Musaf. So that's the Maftir. Umaftir b'malachim b'Pesach to Yoshiyahu, and as far as the HaTorah, you lein in Yoshiyahu, you lein in Malachim, the parsha that discusses the Karban Pesach that was brought in the days of Yoshiyahu, Mivayishlach HaMelech ad va'acharav loy kam kamayu. And there's no Mishnah Berurah on the rest of this Sif. Now we go to Sif Beis. Sif Beis says the Mechaber, Yom Shlishi, the third day of Pesach, Shu Chulei Shel HaMoed. Now already we're up to Chol HaMoed. So Arvis, Ma'ariv, V'Shachris, and Shachris, U'Mincha, Mispalel Kedarkoi. You daven the regular Shemona Esrei. You daven the regular Vachadik Shemona Esrei. V'Omer Yalav V'Yavai Ba'Avoda. But you add Yalav V'Yavai in the bracha of Avoda, in the bracha of Ritzei, which ends with V'Sechazena, you add in Yalav V'Yavai. And if you neglected to say Yalav V'Yavai, Machzirin Oisai, you make him go back. What does that mean that you make him go back? So that means that he's going to have to, if he didn't yet finish Shemona Esrei, he has to go back to Ritzei. If you already finished Shemona Esrei, you have to repeat Shemona Esrei. V'chein mazkiroi beberkas hamazon, and you also say Yalav V'Yavai in benching. But if you neglected to say Yalav V'Yavai in benching al Chol HaMoed, ein machzirin isa, you do not have to repeat benching. Now, a couple of things. First of all, when the Mechaber says over here that during Chol HaMoed, if you neglected to say Yalav V'Yavai in Shemona Esrei, you must repeat yourself. That includes Ma'ariv. I know some people make this mistake because the halacha is that on Rosh Chodesh, if you neglected to say Yalav V'Yavai by Ma'ariv, you don't repeat Shemona Esrei. But on Chol HaMoed, if you forget to say Yalav V'Yavai by Ma'ariv, you do repeat Shemona Esrei. Now let's take a look over here at the Mishnah Berurah. The Mishnah Berurah Eis Katan Gimel, the Mechaber said that if you forget to say Yalav V'Yavai by benching, ein machzirin isa, you do not make him repeat himself. Says the Chavetz Chaim, the dafka batfila, it's only by davening that you have to repeat if you neglected to say Yalav V'Yavai. Why? Because it would not be adequate for you not to daven. What the Chavetz Chaim is saying over here is that you have a chiyuv of tefillah. And part of your chiyuv of tefillah on Yom Tov is that the Chazal said you must mention Me'ein HaMorah. You must mention Yom Tov. You have to mention the Inyan D'Yoma. So you have a chiyuv of tefillah, and on today's chiyuv of tefillah, the Chazal made an addition. They added a mention of Yom Tov. So if you didn't, like the Chavetz Chaim continues, the kevan shaloi hispalel karoi, since you didn't daven properly, Yachzar, you have to go ahead and you have to repeat the Shemoneh Esrei. You have a chiyuv to daven. Today's chiyuv of davening comes with the chiyuv of the Chazal to say Yalav Yavai. You didn't say Yalav Yavai, so your davening was a flawed davening, and you have to repeat it. And the Chavetz Chaim puts in over here, Dahainu, what do we mean that you have to repeat? Im nizkar la'achar she'akar raglav, if you remembered that you forgot to say Yalav Yavai after you already completed Shemoneh Esrei and moved your feet, you stepped back, you must go to the beginning and repeat Shemoneh Esrei. But if you remembered that your omission before you ended your davening, you have to go back to Ritzei and say Shemoneh Esrei over from Ritzei and on with Yalav Yavai. Now, that's as far as davening. However, by benching on Chol HaMoed, if you omitted Yalav Yavai, you do not have to repeat Shemoneh Esrei. Why? Because on Chol HaMoed, you don't have a chiyuv to wash. So you do not really have a chiyuv on Chol HaMoed to bench. Yes, if you wash, you have to bench. But that has nothing to do with Yom Tov. That has nothing to do with Chol HaMoed. It's not Chol HaMoed, it's not Yom Tov that made you bench. What made you bench was the fact that you decided to wash. You decided to wash and eat bread, now you have to bench. Sheyochal basar u'peiros. If you want on Chol HaMoed, you could eat meat, you could eat fruit, you didn't have to wash and eat bread. Al kain ein machzirin oisai b'chal gavni, and therefore we do not make you go back if you forget Yalav Yavai. Now, the svara over here, the way I understand it, is as follows. You see, you might ask a question like this. Okay, what are you telling me? You're telling me that davening, I have to daven over again because I have a chiyuv to daven, and my davening was flawed because I left out Yalav Yavai, so I have to repeat davening. Masha ain't came by benching, I don't really have a chiyuv to bench because I didn't have a chiyuv to wash. But that's not really true. Once you washed, you do have a chiyuv to bench. So why is one different than the other? I have a chiyuv to daven, and my chiyuv to daven comes with a chiyuv of Yalav Yavai. If I left that Yalav Yavai, I have to daven again. So now that I washed and I ate bread, I have a chiyuv to bench. My chiyuv to bench comes with a chiyuv of Yalav Yavai. If I left out Yalav Yavai, my benching was an improper benching. Why don't I have to bench again? So I think the svara is like this. Chazal added Yalav Yavai in your davening and in your benching. Why did they add Yalav Yavai? They added Yalav Yavai because they said, whatever it is that you have a chiyuv to do on this day, we want you to mention Me'ein HaMorah. We want you to mention Yom Tov. So davening is a chiyuv. Davening is a chiyuv that you must do on Yom Tov. You must daven on Chol HaMoed Pesach. There's no way out. So that carries with it a chiyuv of Yalav Yavai. If you didn't say Yalav Yavai, you blew your davening. Your davening is not an adequate davening, and you have to repeat your davening. Benching, there is no chiyuv today to bench. There's no chiyuv today to bench. If you washed and you ate bread, then yes, you're going to bench. Oh, you're benching? If you're benching, so Chazal said add Yalav Yavai because we want you to add Me'ein HaMorah. But really, there is no chiyuv today to bench. So for that incidental chiyuv, the chiyuv that only comes because you decided that you want to wash and you want to eat bread, for that incidental chiyuv, the Chazal were not so makbid that they should turn around and say, if you left it out, you have to repeat benching. Okay, that's my understanding of the svar. Continues the Mishnah Berurah, and the Mishnah Berurah says, "V'ayin le'el b'simin kuf pei chesiv zayin uve Mishnah Berurah uber halacha sham." This is a discussion. Now I remember. This is a discussion in Siman Kuf Pei Ches regarding what happens if you realized that you forgot Yalav Yavai in benching, but you remembered right after you said Uvenei Yerushalayim. So you're between Baruch Atah Hashem B'nei Yerushalayim Amen and Baruch Atah Hashem Elokeinu Melech HaOlam of the next bracha of HaTorah HaMeitiv. So we know that on Rosh Chodesh, if you're over there and you realize you forgot Yalav Yavai, you make a bracha and you say Asher Nasan Rosh Chadashim L'Ama Yisrael. So on the Mechaber says, just finding benching over here in a machzer. Give me a second. Birkas Hamazayin. Yeah, here it is. Yeah, so the Mechaber back in Kuf Pei Ches says that the halacha of Chol HaMoed in regard to this halacha is the same as the halacha of Rosh Chodesh, and you would add in a bracha, Baruch Atah Hashem Elokeinu Melech HaOlam, Asher Nasan Yomim Tovim L'Am Yisrael L'Saseinu L'Simcha Es Yom Chag HaMatzos Hazeh Baruch Atah Hashem Mekadesh Yisrael V'Hazmanim. There is a discussion back in Kuf Pei Ches. There's a lengthy biur halacha over there whether or not this bracha should be made with Shem Malchus or it should not be made with Shem Malchus. So if you're interested, take a look over there in Kuf Pei Ches in the biur halacha. Okay. Now we continue in the Shulchan Aruch in Siv Beis. Okay, by me it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines down in the Shulchan Aruch. Says the Mechaber, Uva Musaf on Chol HaMoed, Mispal Kederach Shemispal B'Musaf Shel Yom Tov. The Musaf Shemona Esrei on Chol HaMoed is the same format, it's the same Shemona Esrei as the Shalish Regalim Musaf Shemona Esrei of Yom Tov. However, says the Ramah, Hagah, Elo Kishemagia Al Yidei Moshe Avdecha Mipich Vaydecha Ka'amur, when we get up to the point of the Musaf, where we're actually going to say the psukim of the Karban Musaf, Aimer v'hikraftem oila, we begin with the words v'hikraftem oila ad ushnei smidin kilchasam. Now, what's at work over here is, in essence, the Karban Musaf of Chol HaMoed is the same exact Karban Musaf as the Karban Musaf of the first 2 days of Yom Tov. Those are the same Karban Musaf. For all 7 days of Pesach, we're making the same Karban Musaf. However, in the Davening, we change what the psukim that we say just a little bit. On the first 2 days of Yom Tov, we begin a couple of psukim earlier. We say U'b'chodesh Harishon in the first month, in Chodesh Nisan, Ba'arba Asa Yom L'Chodesh on the 14th day of the month, Pesach L'Hashem, that's when we bring the Karban Pesach, that's Erev Yom Tov. U'v'chamisha Asa Yom L'Chodesh Hazeh Chag, and on the 15th day of Nisan, the first day of Pesach, we have a Yom Tov. Shivas Yom Matzos Yachel, we're going to eat matzahs for 7 days. By Yom Harishon Mikra Kodesh, on the first day there's a Yom Tov. Karmeleches Avodah Lo Sasu. And then we say V'hikraftem Isha Oila Hashem, and we say the psukim that delineate the Karban Musaf. That's what we say on the first 2 days of Yom Tov. However, says the Ramah, that once we hit Chol HaMoed, once we're hitting the third day of Yom Tov, we don't say those first psukim, U'v'chodesh Harishon, Ba'arba Asa Yom, and Ubachamisha Asar. We don't say those psukim. Why? Because like the Mishnah Berurah explains, take a look in the Mishnah Berurah, he's cutting Dalid. What the Ramah wants to tell you is, we don't say those psukim the Kvar Avar, because we already passed the 14th of Nisan and the 15th of Nisan. So it's not appropriate to say those psukim anymore. So we start from V'hikraftem. Okay. Siv Gimel. Noihagim, the minig is Shebe Yom Tov Omer as Yom Tov Mikra Kodesh Hazeh. Now, the neither the Mechaber nor the Mishnah Berurah spells out very clearly what we're referring to over here, and I assume, I hope I'm right, that we're referring to the paragraph in the Shalosh Regalim Shemona Esrei of Vatiten Lanu. In Vatiten Lanu, what do we say? Vatiten Lanu Hashem Elokeinu ba'ahava mayadim l'simcha chagim uzmanim l'sasain es yom. Now we don't say es yom tov hazeh. We say es yom chag hamatzos hazeh zman cheruseinu mikra kodesh. So we call the yom tov a mikra kodesh. Now mikra kodesh in Art Scrollian, they refer to it as a holy convocation. A Mikra Kodesh is a day of gathering. It's a day that it's a convocation. What's a convocation? We sanctify the day. We have a gathering on that day. It's a special day. So we call it a Mikra Kodesh, but we do not call it Yom Tov. We don't say, for instance, Es Yom Tov Chag HaMatzos Hazeh, Mikra Kodesh. We just say Es Yom Chag HaMatzos Hazeh Zman Cheruseinu, Mikra Kodesh. Now, based on this, referring to this, says the Mechaber in Siv Gimel, Naihagim Shebe Yom Tov Omer Es Yom Tov Mikra Kodesh Hazeh. The Mechaber says that in the Shemona Esrei we would say Yom Tov Mikra Kodesh Hazeh, which in our format I assume would be Es Yom Tov Pesach hazeh zman cheruseinu mikra kodesh. Ubecholei shel moed omer es yom mikra kodesh hazeh. And on Chol HaMoed, we leave out the words Yom Tov, and we only say Mikra Kodesh. And the reason for that would be because Chol HaMoed, Yom Tov is a reference to an Isser Malacha. And on Yom Tov, a lot of Malacha is Mutter, right? Malacha that's a Davar Avod is Mutter on Chol HaMoed. So we're not going to call it a Yom Tov because there's a Heter Malacha on Chol HaMoed. Now the Ramah says, Va'anu ein noi hagin loime Mikra Kodesh klal. The Ramah says that we do not say Mikra Kodesh. Now let's take a look at the Mishnah Berurah. Says the Mishnah Berurah, so first the Chavetz Chaim makes an interesting diet. The Chavetz Chaim says, Shma mina, we see from this discussion, the Chol HaMoed lo mikra Yom Tov. The Chol HaMoed is not really called Yom Tov. Ve'ein loymar b'chol HaMoed b'berkas hamazayin. Oh, so this has a ramification in benching. He says in benching on Chol HaMoed, we shouldn't say, Harachaman hu yanchilenu l'yom shekuloi tov. That's a harachaman that we add into benching only on Yom Tov. He says we shouldn't add that in. We shouldn't add in that harachaman because Chol HaMoed is not called a Yom Tov. Yeah. Harachaman yanchilenu yom shekuloi tov. We don't add that in. Okay. When Yom Tov falls out on Shabbos, we should say two separate harachamans, one for Shabbos and one for Yom Tov. So we have harachaman hu yanchilenu yom shekuloi Shabbos u'menucha l'chayu elamim. That's for Shabbos, and harachaman hu yanchilenu yom shekuloi tov. That's for Yom Tov. Okay. Continues the Mishnah Berurah, Eis Katan Vav. The Ramah said, "Va'anu ein noi hagin loymar." The Ramah said, "We don't say Mikra Kodesh, not on Yom Tov and on Chol HaMoed." Says the Chavetz Chaim, the Kasvu HaAchronim. However, the Achronim write, "The min hagenu our minig is loymar Mikra Kodesh." We say Mikra Kodesh, bein b'Yom Tov ubein b'chol HaMoed. We say it both on Yom Tov and on Chol HaMoed. Ve'ein oimrim es Yom Tov afilu b'Yom Tov. However, as far as the words Yom Tov, we don't say Yom Tov even on Yom Tov itself. Okay, now we go to Sif Dalet. Kol hayamim shel Chol HaMoed, all of the days of Chol HaMoed, u'shtei yamim achrayim shel Yom Tov, and the last 2 days of Yom Tov, Shvi shel Pesach and Achron shel Pesach in Chutz La'aretz, Karen HaHalel b'dilug, we say a shortened version of Halel. We remove the paragraphs of Leilanu and Ahavti, K'may b'Rosh Chodesh, in the same manner that we say Halel on Rosh Chodesh. Says the Chavetz Chaim in Eis Katan Zayin, Karen HaHalel b'dilug. We say the shortened Halel. We say Halel with skipping those two paragraphs. Why is that? Why do we say a shortened version of Halel on the rest of Pesach? Explains the Chavetz Chaim, Mipnei shebiyom Shiva shel Pesach, because on Shvi shel Pesach, of course, we celebrate Kriyas Yamsuf. Nitb'u ha-mitzrim. That's when all the mitzrim drowned in the Yam. Amar HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we have the famous Medrash where it says that the Malachim wanted to sing Shira. Amar HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and the Rebbeinu Shalom said, Maaseh Yadai Tovin Bayam, my handiwork, the people that I created are drowning in the Yam. Va'atem omrim Shira Lafanai, and you're singing Shira, even though these were mitzrim that were Rishayim, that were chasing the Klal Yisrael. Still in all, there's a concept of bin Falavecha al Tismach. There's also a concept that these are Bruim of the Rebbeinu Shalom. The Rebbeinu Shalom created these people, and these people had a tafkid. They had a purpose in the world, and by being Rishayim, that means that they did not fulfill their tafkid. So this is handiwork of the Rebbeinu Shalom. This is the Rebbeinu Shalom made this person, and because this person used his bechira to choose wrongly, he did not fulfill his tafkid. The Rebbeinu Shalom doesn't want shira on that. Of course, we had to sing Az Yashir because we were saved. So we had to thank the Rebbeinu Shalom for saving us. But that for Dirshu, we should say Hallel, a full Hallel on Shvi Shel Pesach, when there is this problem of Maaseh Yadai Tovim Bayam, that doesn't pass. Oh, so we're not going to sing a full Hallel on Shvi Shel Pesach. How does that affect Chol HaMoed, and how does that affect Achron Shal Pesach. So the Chavetz Chaim says, since we're not going to say a full howl on Shvi Shal Pesach, therefore we can't say a full howl on Chol HaMoed either. Because by doing that, it would look like Chol HaMoed is more chashiv than Shvi Shal Pesach. That can't be. Shvi Shal Pesach is a bona fide, a full-fledged Yom Tov Midaraisa. So how could Chol HaMoed be bigger than Shvi Shal Pesach? So if we're not going to say a full howl on Shvi Shal Pesach, we can't say a full howl on Chol HaMoed. Once we're not going to say a full howl on Chol HaMoed and on Shvi Shal Pesach, we're not going to say a full howl on Achron, because Achron is only Sveika de Yoma because of Shvi. So Achron can't be bigger than Shvi either. Now, I can't resist. I always have to say over, there's a beautiful Reb Shmelka Nikolsburg on this medrash of Maisa Yad Tovim Bayom V'atem Oimrim Shira. Everybody learns Pshat, and of course this is the Pashup Pshat in the medrash, that the Malachei HaShareis wanted to sing Shira to the Rabbeinu Shalom for saving the Klal Yisrael. The Rabbeinu Shalom said, Maisa Yadai Tovim Bayam, my handiwork, my creations are drowning in the Yam, V'atem Oimrim Shira Lafanai, and you want to sing Shira to me? So everybody learns it's going on the Malachim. The Rabbeinu Shalom had a time on the Malachim. Masa Yadai Tovim Bayam, that's not a time for you to sing Shira. Rosh Shvelkim Nikolsburg says that's not Pshat. Rosh Shvelkim Nikolsburg says that what does it mean that the Malachim wanted to sing Shira? And the truth is, this answers another kasha. We know that there's another medrash. The medrash says that when the Klal Yisrael came to the Yam, the Malachim said to the Rabbeinu Shalom, I don't understand. Why are you drowning the Mitzrim and saving the Yidden? Halalu oiv de'avodah zarahem, v'halalu oiv de'avodah zarahem. We know that the Klal Yisrael, when they were in Mitzrayim, they went down to Memtesh Shari Tumah, and apparently, unfortunately, there were those Yidden that were oiv de'avodah zara. We know Pesel Micha, which was a tremendous nisayon for Klal Yisrael during the days of the Shoftim. That Pesel Micha came in the Yam. It was brought out from Mitzrayim. There was an avodah zara in the Yam. So the Malachim said, "Halalu oiv de'avodah zarahem, v'halalu oiv de'avodah zarahem." Why are you drowning them and saving them? So the Rabbeinu Shalom answered, and the Rabbeinu Shalom answered them. The Rabbeinu Shalom said there's reasons why they should be saved. One of the reasons is Lechtech Acharai Ba'Midbar Be'eretz Le'Zerua. They were willing to go out into the Midbar without any food. They had such emunah and betachon in me. Because of that emunah and betachon, the Rabbeinu Shalom saved them. But whatever it is, the Rabbeinu Shalom had an answer to the argument of the Malachim. But if you're telling me that the Malachim had an argument with the Rabbeinu Shalom and they felt that Klal Yisrael shouldn't be saved, now they changed their mind, and a minute after the Yam Suf, they suddenly want to sing Shira, and they had such an about face. Now, of course, this is very much an oversimplification of what Malachim are, and what Malachim don't really have Bechira, and they have jobs that are given by the Rabbeinu Shalom, so it's all an oversimplification, but it's drush. So in any case, the Rosh Hashanah Nikolsburg says we're learning Pshat in the Medrash Road. What it means that the Malachim wanted to say Shira is not that the Malachim wanted to sing Shirais v'Sishpachais to the Rabbeinu Shalom to praise him for Kriyas Yamsuf, for saving the Klal Yisrael and drowning the Mitzvah. What it means is the Malachim came to the Rabbeinu Shalom and they said, instead of you drowning the Mitzvah in the Yam, let us sing Shira. We know that by Melech Ashur, how did the Rabbeinu Shalom wipe out the army of Ashur? When they were coming to attack Klal Yisrael, he let them see and hear the Malachim saying Shira. When they saw and heard the Malachim saying Shira, Parchu Nishmasam, their neshamas left them, because a mensch is a davar gashmi, and they can't comprehend, especially a goy, a mushchis, can't comprehend ruchnius. So when faced with the clear ruchnius of Malachim singing Shira to the Rabbeinu Shalom, the ruchniistic and neshamas of these goyim left their bodies, and they died. So that's how the Rabbeinu Shalom wiped out the army of Melech Ashur, by allowing them to see and hear the Malachim saying Shira. So by the Yam Suf, the Malachim came, and they said, Rabbeinu Shalom, we want to sing Shira. We want to be Zoichet to wipe out these mitzvim. Let them hear and see us sing Shira, and we'll kill them. The Rabbeinu Shalom said back, Maise Yadai Tovin Bayam. Who are these mitzvim? They took my Yiddish kinderlach, Maise Yadai. They took my Yiddish kinderlach and Tovin Bayam, and they threw them into the Yam. right? We know that they took Yiddish Gindalach and they threw them into the Nilus. So Maisa Yadai Tovim Bayam Va'atem Roitzim Loimim Shira, and you want to kill them by saying Shira? No. They're mine. You're not doing it. I'm doing it. Layal Yadei Malach, the Layal Yadei Saraf. It was the Rabbi Shalom B'chvaydei Ba'atzmai. The Rabbi Shalom said, I'm not giving this to you as a job to do. This is for me to do, because Maisa Yadai Tovim Bayam. That's from Shmelkim in Nikolsburg. Okay. Weiter. Let's go to Sif Hey. Says the Machaber. Siman HaParshiyah Shel Shmoinas Yemei HaPesach. We have a siman, we have an acronym that tells us all of the leinings for every day of Pesach. What is it? Meshach Tura, bring an ox. Now, Meshach, the truth is, the Mishnah Berurah is going to explain all this. I'll just read it. Meshach Tura, Kadesh Bekaspa, sanctify with kesef. Pisol b'madbara, engrave in the midbar. Shalach buchra, send out the bechar. What is this? Says the Mishnah Berurah. What is this siman? Meshach Tura. V'heim simane roshe parshiyos. Every one of these words is a siman, is a remez for the first word of the parsha that we're going to lein on that day of Yom Tov. Tahainu. Yom Rishon, on the first day of Pesach, what do we lein? We lein for Parshas Boy, the parsha of bringing the Karban Pesach. Mishchu ukechu. The pasuk says, Mishchu ukechu lachem. Bring a lamb for the Karban Pesach. So that's Mishoich. Yom Sheni, we lein Shar a Chesev. A Shar is an ox. A Torah is an ox. So Mishoich Torah, draw an ox. That's the first day and the second day. Yom Shlishi, on the third day, we lein Kadesh li kol bechar, sanctify every bechar. So that's Kadesh bekaspa, not bekaspa. That's Kadesh, Kadesh li kol bechar. Yom Revi, we lein from Parshas Mishpatim im kesef talve es ami. So that's kaspa. Yom Chamishi, on the fifth day, we lein psal lecha. That's psal. Yom Shishi b'madbara, on the sixth day, we lein about the midbar. Tahainu vayedaber b'midbar sina v'yasu b'nei Yisrael sapasach. That's the parsha of Klal Yisrael bringing the Karban Pesach in the midbar. And b'yom Shvi Parshas B'Shalach, on Shvi Shal Pesach, of course, we learn about Kriyas Yamsuf. So that's the last siman is Shalach, not the last one. That's Shalach. And then on Akron b'yom Shmini Buchra Kol HaBechar Asher Yivoled. Continues the Mechaber. V'zeh Seder, this order of the leinings for Pesach, lo yishtane, is never changed. Kiyim kishakal Pesach b'yom Chamishi, unless Pesach falls out on Thursday. In that case, should be Yom Shlishi shu Shabbos. Then on the third day of Pesach, which is Shabbos, kairei re'e'ata omer elai, we learned for Parshas Kisisa, Shehu Pesal. That's the Parsha of Pesal L'chashten Luchei Savanim Karishonim. And the reason we do that on the third day, when the third day is Shabbos, is because Shabbos is mentioned in that Parsha. And then we switch around, Ubiyayim Rishon Sheni Shlishi Karin Kaddish Bekaspa B'madbara. Says the Mishnah Berurah in Ois Cotton Test, Kairei, Memnesha Kasabay Ben Yanin de Shabbos. Sivav, B'chol Yemei Chol HaMoed, Ushtei Yavim Tovim Achrayim, on all the days of Chol HaMoed, and on the last 2 days of Pesach, on Shvi Shal Pesach and Achron Shal Pesach, Kairin B'Sefer Sheni, we learn from a second Sefer Torah, B'Karbanos HaMusafin Shebepinchas, we learn the Parsha of the Karban Musaf of Pesach, from the Parsha of the Musafin that is located in Parshas Pinchas. Umaschil, and we begin V'hikraftem with the pasuk of V'hikraftem, not from Ubachodesh Harishain, but from V'hikraftem ad Soif Piska, until the end of the parsha of the Musaf of Pesach. Says the Mishnah Berurah is cotton Yod Karen Haravi. The fourth aliyah on Chol HaMoed is the from a second sefer is the Musaf. Kaya Chol HaMoed. This that we lein the Musaf in the fourth aliyah, that's a reference to Chol HaMoed. Ve'ein omrim Kaddish, and on Chol HaMoed Pesach, we have an interesting thing. Usually we say Kaddish right away after the Kriya. So usually if we have 2 Sifrei Torah, we're going to say Kaddish after the first Sefer. Not so on Chol HaMoed Pesach. Kaya Chol HaMoed, ve'ein omrim Kaddish ad acher shekara haravi shenishla minyan. We do Hag Ben Galila on the first Sefer, and then we lein the Musaf from the second Sefer. We say the Chatzi Kaddish after the Musaf of the second Sefer, because we need 4 aliyahs on Chol HaMoed, and the maftir, the second sefer, is the fourth aliyah. We can't do the kaddish until after we did the required amount of aliyahs. Ma'ashein came b'Shabbos v'Yom Tov Yom Kippurim. This is different than Shabbos or a regular day of Yom Tov or Yom Kippur. Then we say the Chatzi Kaddish before the maftir. Nishla minyan akruim kaidim shekarim after. V'alkedoimrim tekef kaddish. And that's why we say kaddish right away after the regular aliyahs before the maftir. Thank you so much for joining me for limud HaTorah. The schus of limud HaTorah should stand Gans Klal Yisrael in good stead. Everyone should have, the Rebbeinu Shalom should send Yeshuas and Refuas and Parnasa to all those in need. The Rebbeinu Shalom should make in Gans Klal Yisrael, which should be Zeicha to the Bias Gelgel Tzedek B'mher V'Yameinu. Be well.